Self-made millionaire Steve Siebold spent 26 years interviewing some of the wealthiest people in the world, and he put those conversations into a book called How Rich People Think. And he found that the secret to being rich is not the mechanics of wealth, but it's actually a mindset or a level of thinking that generates wealth. In addition to having larger bank accounts than the rest of us, rich people have different beliefs, different philosophies, and different strategies. And in today's episode of the Wealth Nation podcast, I'm talking to you about the different ways that rich people think.
Welcome to the Wealth Nation podcast, a podcast for every mother, daughter, grandmother, sister, and wife, and the men who are smart enough to tune in. The Wealth Nation podcast brings you all you need to know about investments, business, property investments, personal finance, and all-around financial wellness. Here is your host, Yolanda Rose.
And welcome to another episode of the Wealth Nation podcast. I am Yolanda Rose, wealth coach and financial advisor, and it is my goal to help you manage your money well and to build generational wealth. If you're new on the show, please subscribe to the show on whichever platform that you're listening on, and also reach out to me on social media. Follow us on all of our platforms. We're on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, on Snapchat. Our social media handles are Financially Fabulous Females. And even if you're a guy that's listening to this podcast, please feel free to engage with us. Lots of really cool content on our social media platforms, a lot of videos, a lot of cool money advice that you can take in and make some changes into how you think about money and how you handle money in your life. The Wealth Nation podcast is sponsored by Audible. Audible is a seller and producer of spoken audio entertainment, information, and educational programming on the internet. Audible sells digital audiobooks, radio and TV programs, and audio versions of magazines and newspapers. For a 30-day free trial of Audible, go to www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com/audible. Today on the show, we're talking about rich people. Yeah, I know, rich people. We shouldn't be hating on them. We should be learning from them. And this is my hope with this specific episode, is to have some insight into the way rich people think and for us to adopt some of these habits, and especially when it comes to their mindset and level of thinking when it comes to money. I'm going to take you through a few examples of what self-made millionaire Steve Siebold uncovered in his 26 years of speaking to rich people and uncovering their thoughts about money. And we're going to be unpacking that in this episode. So the first thing that rich people do differently is that they believe that being wealthy is a right, while the average person believes that being wealthy is a privilege. World-class thinkers know in a capitalist country that they have a right to be rich. And if they're willing to create massive value for others, the money will come. Now, I know in South Africa, the communist socialist tendencies are there. And you feel that a lot of people are hating on the rich, that a lot of their money are gained by the various workers that work for them at odd hours, and they feel that the workers are not getting enough in return. The reality is that if you create convenience for the masses, if you make people's lives more convenient and add value, whether it's a product or service, you deserve to be paid for that. And that's the story with the rich people. They create value in people's lives and people pay for that value. They pay for the convenience. They pay for an iPod. They pay for a computer or whatever it is. People pay for those conveniences, and that's where the money goes. And we find that the masses, particularly in South Africa, find that getting rich is reserved for a lucky few. And this distinction in thinking leads the middle class to be standing in the queue for lottery and the working class to work. And the wealthy believe that if they make life better and easier for others, it's their right to be rich. And I, for one, agree with them. Raising financially savvy children involves teaching them a variety of aspects, from budgeting to planning to earning and saving. Now, besides giving them an understanding of the value of a rand, you need to prepare them for the real world. And financial literacy is the skill that they need to succeed with their money. It's never too early to teach kids about money. Many parents struggle to find age-appropriate content, and that is why I have developed the Financial Literacy for Kids Workbook. The ebook provides you with sample lessons, activities, lessons plans, discussion points, and quizzes that you can use to test your kids' knowledge. It's a program that I've put together for my kids, and I hope it brings your family value as well. The ebook is selling for 49 Rand at www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Tuned In. Now back to the show.
Rich people believe that starting a business is the fastest way to make money, and I'm a big believer of this as well. I started my kids on their entrepreneurial journey last year because I believe that setting them up in business now, having me to fall back on and having to learn these lessons now, by the time they're 18, 20 years old, they're going to be novices. So instead of them having that learning curve earlier or later in life, they have it now. I mean, will learn from it differently, but I'm their safety net. And the truth is that having a job is no safer than owning a business. The reality is that as an employee, your income is finite. You check in at 8, you scan out at 4 o'clock, and you're trading time for rands. An entrepreneur or somebody in business, they're working all the time. Trust me, people that are business owners are working all the time, way past the 5 o'clock that most employees knock off at. And the earning potential is unlimited. You earn as much as you work. While rich people launch businesses and profit from them, average people settle for a steady paycheck and therefore miss out on chances to generate fortunes. The masses almost guarantee themselves into a life of financial mediocrity by staying in a job with a modest salary and yearly pay raises. Whereas a business owner, his income has unlimited potential. Another way that the rich differ in their thinking is that they believe that rich people are more savvy. Now, while the average person believes that wealthy people are smarter. If the key to building wealth was excellent marks in school, everybody who's matriculated or finished university with distinction would be rich. And as we know, that is not the case. Often students are struggling with tons of student loans, and then they fall into the debt trap of house and car. And it's not like that for rich people. Amassing money is a lot to do with street smart savvy than your ability to memorize information and excel at exams. So how do you become more savvy? Get inside the heads of people who are already rich. Find out what they think about money. So even if you can't be around super rich people or you don't have access to super rich people, find somebody that has a little more than you, that drives a nicer car than you, that is a bit more savvier with money than you, and tap into their thinking, their mindset, their patterns of behavior, and try and figure out how you are different and how you can emulate such behavior. Rich people believe that making money is earned through thinking, while the average person believes that money is earned through time and labor. And with the number of strikes that we find in South Africa, we know that this kind of thinking is there. If the workers don't get what they want, the unions are ever too quick to down their tools. But the reality is, it's only the workers that get hurt in that case. We have our workers burning down stuff, nurses in hospitals burning down stuff because they didn't get what they think they earn. And a lot of the times, they're valid in their claims. However, they're burning stuff down. They're burning their own resources down. People are burning down libraries, schools, because they don't get what they want. Rich people believe that money is earned through thinking. The middle class think about money in linear terms. They believe that the only way to earn more money is to work more hours. Everybody is shouting for overtime. They want to work extra hours to make that extra money. But the wealthy know that big money requires big thinking. It's about the non-linear terms. It's about thinking outside the box. And rich people know that creative thinking is the highest paid skill in the world. Training your mind to find solutions to difficult problems is the real secret to making money. And when it comes to my kids, I don't ask them what they're going to be when they grow up. I ask them how they're going to change the world. So I get them thinking from now, what is it they're going to do? What revolutionary product or service they're going to come up with that's going to change the way people live. And I encourage you with your kids as well. Challenge them to start thinking differently, creatively, critically. I can go on talking about this topic because there's so many things that the rich do more differently than us. But I'm going to stop it here. This is the last point I'm going to cover, where rich people believe that building wealth takes a team, while the average person believes that building wealth is an individual effort. Now, there's no one person, no matter how rich, how smart you are in the world, there's no one person that knows it all. So you need to get a team of experts around you to help reach your goal. You need that lawyer, you need the attorney. The reality is that most rich people, they're not these type A personalities. The type A's are the perfectionists. Everything must be done to the T. And type A's make the great employees, the top lawyers, the top accountants, the top professionals. And these are the kind of people that rich people hire, those type A personalities. So rich people know that they need a team of successful people around them. A solid lawyer, a solid accountant, and a solid financial advisor as well. So there's no shame in seeking services from professionals. It takes a team to build wealth, and they focus much of their effort on finding the right people to leverage their actions and ideas. The greatest fortunes are built through collective mental and physical contributions of a world-class team. And if we look at somebody like Bill Gates, okay, he started off in his parents' garage, but his major successes came from hiring highly skilled professionals, particularly South Indians. And you'll often find him saying that South Indians are some of the smartest people in the world because they create a lot of their work for him under the Microsoft brand. So finding that essential set of people to surround yourself with those professionals to help you reach your objective is essential to building wealth. So those are my 5 points on how rich people think about money. I hope that I was able to spur you on somewhat. I hope that you are able to implement some of these into your life. And if you are serious about building wealth differently from just being an employee, but going into business to be an entrepreneur, I want you to check out the Entrepreneurs group that I have on Facebook. Go and check it out. I'm going to be giving you some ideas on how you can get into business with minimal startup costs, particularly in digital business. So go and check out that group and catch me inside that group for more ideas on how you can get started on business. So that's it for me on this edition of the Wealth Nation podcast. Drop me a mail if there's anything that you would like me to cover on the podcast. I will gladly cover it for you. It's Yolanda@financiallyfabulousfemales.com.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to visit our website at www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com and sign up for our free investment masterclass.